Welcome back into college football now for the final day of pretty much all teams' regular seasons outside of a handful of teams. We're doing some college football head coach predictions for the 6 Power 5 jobs open. Sorry, South Florida. We're going to begin with Nebraska, and we're going to cheat here because this one isn't technically official, but also might as well be official at this point. The Nebraska is going to end up hiring Matt Rhule. This is done except for the pen-to-paper stuff, if we believe the ESPN reports and Athletic and everyone else out there. They're working on the contract. It'll be finalized. Hell, maybe by the time this video actually goes out or whenever you watch it, it'll end up being finalized as well. It very much seems like Matt Rhule is the next head coach of the Nebraska Cornhuskers. A move, by the way, that I freaking love. I don't think they were going to find a better candidate than Matt Rhule amid this coaching pool. So give me your one-word reaction to Nebraska hiring Matt Rhule as their next head coach once that's made officially official. Strong, great, quality, solid, whatever word you want to do, drop that one word only for me in the comment section. Let's go to predictions then for these 5 jobs. Beginning with Auburn, and this one is very challenging for me because I don't have a great feel for what they'll actually end up doing. I think there are 2 very obvious names who have been linked heavily to this gig, right? Lane Kiffin, with one report out of Mississippi saying he's accepted the job, we'll do it on Friday, and well, we're past Friday and that didn't happen. Other reports saying Hugh, a quality backup candidate for Lane Kiffin. I'd also mention Jeff Grimes as like your dark horse fallback option if those 2, if we believe the reports, who are their top 2 contenders, end up saying no. There's a lot of buzz around Lane Kiffin. I would not be surprised at all if that ends up being the hire made by the Auburn Tigers. They throw a bunch of money his way and they make that hire. I just can't quite get on board with it, though. So I'm going to go Hugh. I know he just signed the extension with Liberty. I wonder if Lane is really just trying to push Ole Miss to give him more money, and then he's got his eye on the Alabama job once Nick Saban steps aside. Just a thought there. So I'm going to go Hugh. But no, I am not confident at all in this particular hire. Now, I want to hear your predictions, too. We'll go 3 options, right? F for Hugh, K for Lane Kiffin, or O for other. For typing in O for other, by the way, mention that coach's name. I think a lot of routes, especially if those 2 say no, which I'm not sure they will. Who will Auburn end up hiring? F for Hugh, K for Lane Kiffin, O for other. It's the pinned comment on today's video. So if the ad break comes here on YouTube, it's great timing, actually. Take advantage of it. Head down there and make the predictions yourselves. Let's go to Wisconsin now. The Badgers, they fire Paul Chryst. Jim Leonard ends up being named the interim head coach. And the coaching search has been pretty quiet around Wisconsin. I think deep down they want to give that job to Jim Leonard. That's why they made the move to fire Chryst midseason. Give Leonard a chance to show he can win the job. He's got one more game left coming up here in a little bit on Saturday. When Lance Leipold, by the way, goes back to Kansas for his great success with Wisconsin Whitewater, kind of a sign to me that, okay, that's, of course, going to take him out of the running at Wisconsin and leaves not that many options. Leonard's been pretty solid-ish as the interim coach, and that's my official prediction. I think Jim Leonard does end up as the full-time head coach for the Wisconsin Badgers, and that will be made official probably not that far after the year ends because they've posted the job. I think their state rule is got to be posted for 7 days. We're now past the 7-day window, so you can make that hiring official at any point once you do that. Overall, decent results for Leonard as the Wisconsin interim head coach. 2 losses to Michigan State. The Iowa one is maybe one you go, it's not exactly what we're aiming for from a success standpoint in terms of we should be able to beat a bad Iowa football team. Narrow win against Nebraska. But I just get the vibe this is what Wisconsin wants to do. That's going to be my official prediction. Now, today's edition of College Football Now is made possible by Established Titles. It's a fun and novel way to preserve the natural woodlands of Scotland while helping global reforestation efforts. It is a project based on the old historic Scottish custom, where landowners are referred to as lairds or lords and ladies in English. Title pass at least 1 square foot of dedicated land with a unique plot number on a private estate in Edelston, Scotland, and an official certificate with a crest. They plant a tree with every order and work with global charities One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future to support global reforestation efforts. You can officially include the title Lord or Lady on your credit card, plane ticket, dating profile, etc. It makes a great last-minute gift. The first 200 people who get a title pack using my link will effectively be next to my plot, within a few minutes of walking distance. Depending on how many of you want to become a lord or a lady, we can build our own little College Football Now chat sports game. It makes the amazing last-minute gift. They're actually running a massive holiday sale right now with discounts up to 80% off. Plus, if you use code CHAT, C-H-A-T, you get an additional 10% off. Go to establishedtitles.com/chat to get your gifts now and help support the channel. That's establishedtitles.com/chat. Promo code chat. The link again, folks, is in the comments section and it's in the description of today's show. We appreciate Established Titles sponsoring things as well. On now to Arizona State, and much like Wisconsin, although this one may be more of a negative, pretty quiet around the Sun Devils coaching search, especially from more of a national search perspective. There have been some names linked to this job, though, that I do think are worth exploring and trying to see, okay, who could they end up targeting from that standpoint? Who could they go pursue and search? But I am surprised how little buzz there's been. Maybe it is some of the investigation stuff, some of the concerns about the athletic department as well there for the Arizona State coaching search, but quiet is the term I'd use, and I don't like quiet, especially with how soon that college football transfer portal window opens, and you need to hit the ground running these days and, keep your key players and get other players onto this roster because Arizona State is very much in need of some help at this point. So some names to keep an eye out for this Arizona State head coaching search right now. Tom Herman has been linked to the Sun Devils, which is worth mentioning because it's a big-time name there. So is Gary Patterson, the current Texas assistant, former TCU coach. I think he'd be a great hire. Deion Sanders, more on him in a little bit, is in the mix there. Bronco Mendenhall has been mentioned as well. And the name that I keep coming back to is Kenny Dillingham, the young offensive coordinator from Oregon who knows the Sun Devils oh so well from his time there. And that is my prediction. As unsexy as it is, that Kenny Dillingham ends up being the next Arizona State head football coach. That's the hire they end up making, and they move forward with him and give him some time to rebuild what could be a potential disciplined program with what happened under Herm Edwards. We will have more college football videos. We mentioned the transfer portal. We're going to have that covered a lot because it's going to be full-fledged free agency in college football. It is free when you subscribe. That's right, no paying for message board stuff. We're going to give it to you free. Hit that subscribe button right now, youtube.com/@chatsports. Colorado has become one of the more intriguing jobs for me based on one of the big names linked to this coaching search. That, of course, is Coach Primetime himself, Deion Sanders. Reportedly from 24/7 Sports, Colorado has offered Deion Sanders a significant contract. Now, I'll make note, it's never offered until after it's accepted. I hate that. It's always a lie. They offer coaches all the time. They get turned down. They have made inquiries to Deion Sanders, also has had interest from South Florida, amongst others. And if you could get Deion Sanders in your Colorado, wouldn't that be a big-time home run get for you as a coaching staff? And as unlikely as maybe I thought that was beginning this round of college football coaching carousel drama, given who the Buffs hired last time around, I actually am going to go with Deion Sanders as my prediction here. And that's not something I would have guessed even a month ago. It's more fun to have Deion Sanders getting a coaching job this time around, right? I do think if they don't end up getting Deion, there are some other options, but no guarantee that Coach Prime ends up coaching somewhere outside of Jackson State this year. Do you think he will or not? Sound off with your predictions for me in the comments section. Will Deion Sanders take a new job? Y for yes, N for no. Head down there and sound off for me in the comments section. So Deion's my prediction for Colorado. Some other candidates that I think are worth monitoring if Colorado does not end up hiring Deion Sanders. The big name that I'm keeping my eye out for, and I almost went with him, is defensive coordinator Ryan Walters. He's an alumnus of the program. He's a classic fallback option if you miss out on your big name. Other coaches mentioned by ESPN, The Athletic, 20% Sports, etc. Tom Herman, Bronco Mendenhall again as the out of the coaching ranks right now, but great success in the past. Not so much for Herman, Texas, but you get my point. Matt Entz at North Dakota State as well. Jeff Choate at Texas, the defensive coordinator. I'd say Deion and Ryan Walters are the two big ones to keep your eye out for there. So that's Colorado. Georgia Tech, not going to give it away quite yet here. Georgia Tech is the next one up. And Brent Key has been heavily linked to this job. He's done a fantastic job as the interim head coach. Way better than I think anyone thought he was going to end up being able to do at Georgia Tech. He's not the only name that's been linked so far to this particular job. There have been plenty of others from that standpoint. The one name that I saw ESPN mentioned, and man, I don't know about this one. Bill O'Brien has been pretty heavily linked to the Georgia Tech coaching search here. But Brent Key, guys, that's impressive. I thought they were going to fire him, go get somebody else. Maybe they hire Deion Sanders. That'd be a fun fit. He's 4-3. He upset North Carolina, and everyone loves Drake May. That's a big win for the Yellow Jackets. And it might not work out, but the job he's done, I do think, is fairly significant from that perspective. So Brent Key is a prime candidate. Bill O'Brien has been linked to this job as well. There are some Alabama ties in that department right now. Willie Fritz, too. Heard Jamie Chadwell got an interview. I think that was a 24/7 Sports Report. I'd love to see Jamie Chadwell there. Honestly, it's not Bill O'Brien. If it's either Brent Key or Jamie Chadwell, I'm down. My prediction, though, is Brent Key. I think Georgia Tech, just like Wisconsin, ends up going the interim route. They go with the guy that's impressed them, even maybe more so than Jim Leonard, Wisconsin. It's been a better, more positive surprise so far out of Brent Key. They're not going to beat Georgia. If they do, of course, to get the job, but they're not going to beat Georgia. So I am curious what happens at Tech. I'm not sold on these jobs, and we saw it last year too, right? Probably someone else gets fired, and there'll probably be a surprise hiring this college football coaching carousel as well.